This is my custom homemade chainsaw powered bicycle that I built back in 2020. Figured I'd do a video on my new channel. I have an old channel on YouTube called Fishing Freak 18, but couldn't remember the password to the email or the channel, so here we are on this new channel. So I'm gonna start doing all my builds on this channel. There's also a Facebook page that I have set up for all these builds called Single Cylinder Customs, so you can go check out everything that I've built on there. There's a ton of videos and build pictures of all the bicycles I've built in the past, as well as some scooters. But anyway, this is a design that I've been using for about 12 years now with the spring-loaded clutch setup. And I'm not saying I'm the first one to ever do this, but I haven't really seen anything super close to this before on YouTube. I've seen people use hand clutches with cables and all that, and they do work. I'm not knocking on them, but they tend to break. I know that because I've used them, built them in the past, and they've got their advantages, but the disadvantages I found were outweighing the advantages. So I kept messing around. I finally built one of my own back in like 2013. I think was the first model that I built with this type of setup. It was pretty crude compared to this one, but this is the one that I've used on quite a few builds that I've done. I've sold quite a few bikes with this setup. I've done this with weed whackers, chainsaws. I'd like to try some RC motors like GoPed engines, like a G290 or something like that. So I'll probably do one of those in the future, but this one runs really good. It runs about 30 miles an hour. I don't have any current running videos of it, but if you go to my Instagram, search Instagram, my name on there is Gearhead1993-1, and if you scroll down to the post, you'll see the post that says afternoon run on the toys, and there's a video of it running on there. So like I said, it's not a speed demon, but it runs about 30. It's perfect for getting around town. It's super fuel efficient. It's very easy to use. So I'll do a walk around and get up close, show you how it works. So if anybody else wants to try and build one, it might make it a little easier. Like I said, it's spring loaded with a door hinge right here. And then this clutch rod is what controls your engage and disengage right here. So as you can see, it's disengaged right now. This is an awesome design because it's super easy to use. You can pedal it just like a bike like this. There's no added resistance with chains and sprockets. It's also a good safety feature to have in case you were to have the throttle lock up on you. You can push it down and lock it right here on the lock and take it off the tire and then get off the bike. You don't have to worry about it taking off on you. You can also add tension with this design, like if you're going uphill or something like that. You can give it gas, pull back on this rod right here, and it'll add tension to the tire and help you get uphill a little bit better. What else? You can bump start it like this. That's what's cool. You don't have to pull start it every time. You can get some momentum going. Drop the clutch, give it some gas, and go. It still has a factory pull start, so if you want to start it by hand when it's cold, you can do that, but you don't have to. That's the beauty of this design. Almost all the parts that I have on here were found in the garbage. This is all bed frame that I used. Cut it up, welded it together, made some mounts for it. Everything's bolted to the frame. It's not welded to the frame either, so if you wanted to take this apart and ride it just like a regular bicycle, you could. It's super fuel efficient. So as you can see, everything right there. Factory brakes down here, and then you got your throttle right here. Just a bicycle brake lever, goes back, comes around, and loops through right here, going to the carb. I use the stock carburetor throttle rod, and then I attached it together with this wire connector, cable connector from Ace, and then added a return spring right here. Also added this custom velocity stack off a GP460 for a GoPed. So it looks a little better and gets a little more airflow. So here's the throttle in action. All the way open, as you can see, all the way closed. Turn spring working like it should, super smooth. Comes around, goes through this tube steel right here, as you can see. Comes through the frame, comes out right here. That kind of conceals it, makes it look cleaner, and then comes up to the throttle lever, just like that. Kill switch is still on the motor right here, and then the choke is right here on the carb. Fuel tank is just a gallon fuel tank that I found in the garbage on trash day. Cleaned it up really good, got a different cap for it. Drilled a hole for the fuel feed. This engine doesn't have a primer, so there's no return. And then your vent is right here. I made a bracket for the tank out of bed frame, and it's just welded to the top part of that tube steel. And then there's some insulation. I think that's window insulation is what I used to kind of pad the bottom of this so it wasn't sitting on raw steel and, you know, rubbing the tank the wrong way. And it's the only thing holding it on there is these bungee cords, and it works very well. It doesn't move. The rubber acts like an insulator, so it doesn't rip up the tank real bad or anything like that. And if you ever need to take it off and service it, it's super simple. What else? I'm not going to do a riding video because I don't have anybody to record me right now, but I will do one in the future. But like I said, if you go to my Facebook page, Single Cylinder Customs, there's a video of it running on there, and there's also a video of it running on my Instagram. My Instagram is Gearhead1993-1, and if you scroll down to the post that says afternoon run on the toys, you'll see it running. So, stock exhaust, that's just a bicycle peg. Ended up drilling it a little bit bigger to fit it over the crankshaft, and then just put the nut on there with a couple lock washers and a ton of red Loctite. Let it dry overnight before you ride it. The only two mounts I have for the engine are where the bar stud used to be, or where the bar studs actually are, where the bar itself used to be. And then on the bottom, down here, and that's it. It's super sturdy. So, I'll show you how it works. This is the clutch. This is disengaged off the tire if you're riding it like a bike, or if you're sitting at a stoplight or red light or something, you can sit there and idle. You push down and then out a little bit. I'll try and do this by myself, and then it comes off and it rides the tire. Now you're engaged with the motor. So as you can see, it rides the tire just like that. And this is how it sits whenever you're riding it with the engine. It still doesn't get in the way. It's pretty narrow, so you got plenty of room to sit and ride. Super easy to work. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand, but to disengage it, like if you're coming up to a stop sign or stoplight or something, you just push down and then in a little bit, and that'll lock it, as you can see. This is a nut that was cut in half right here. So it fits the threads of this. It's the right thread pitch for this, so it keeps it from going, you know, side to side. Now if you hit a bump that's too big, it'll, you know, engage it and come off and then start riding the tire. But if you hit a bump that big, you really need to, you know, watch where you're riding anyway. But like I said, it's very economical, it works well. That spring-loaded design is also great for the crank. It really cuts back wear on the crank bearings, so it lasts a lot longer. But that's pretty much it. Like I said, I'm not saying I'm the first person to come up with this design, but I haven't seen anything, you know, super close to this yet. So, the throttle idea, I did kind of use Donnie Boy 73's idea on his redneck chainsaw bike that he built a while back. He used a 240 just like this. He has a great channel, by the way, go check him out. But he did his throttle pretty much the same way I did this one, so I had to take that one. I will say that was his idea, and it works very well, so I can't take that away from him. But the rest of this is all me. So, like I said, if you guys have any questions, give me a shout. I'll be happy to answer them, especially you young guys that are getting started in metal fab and building stuff like this. Be more than happy to help you out. Check out my Facebook page, Single Cylinder Customs, for more build pictures and video. And then, like I said, if you want to see this thing in action, go to my Instagram, Gearhead1993-1, and there's a post that's called Afternoon Run on the Toys, and you'll see this bike in action. So, I'm going to get back into doing a lot of this. I haven't done it in, you know, about 3 years. So, got some other builds coming up. I just finished this Razor Pocket mod that I found in the garbage. So that'll be the next video. And I got the mobility scooter right here. I'm gonna build another mobility scooter. So we've got quite a few builds coming up, so you guys stay tuned if you want to see everything. Later.